Hello, how is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How has your week been? Oh. Hello to John, and hello to Abuya. How you guys doing? How's things? How has your week been? Uh, good job on not perishing. I got really close yesterday and today though. But seriously now, you're really close to 100k. You just need one big controversy and an apology and you're set. I know, wait, actually, hold on, let me look at the live count. I think it's 99,956. 44 more people. Come on. Fake accounts, I don't care. Oh. Hello Ish from Twitch. Nice to see you there. Bit unusual. Also, I love that the counter for how many viewers I have on Streamlabs desktop is clearly wrong, because clearly I have at least one viewer on Twitch because they're commenting, but it says 0. Does this stream show up as actually live and like working on YouTube? I have to assume it does, but I've never checked because I'm busy streaming normally. Hello Simon. John, hello. Oh Joe, it is working. Good. I'm glad to hear. Technically the live stream's set to go live at 8, but I tend to start a few minutes early, so here I am. Anyway, really good job on not perishing. Go watch on Twitch, because I'm fairly positive that YouTube is throttling my connection because of my ad blocker. Well, unlucky. Pretty sure that's illegal in the EU. I wouldn't be surprised. Good luck fighting it. Yeah, I don't know if you heard. I got real close yesterday. I went. My friend invited me to go mountain biking at a very local little trail park thing that we've been to plenty of times. They've like sort of done a wee bit of work on it, and so I was like, do you know what? I'm okay. I'm doing all right on work. I can take an hour. Like, you know, I like exercising. It was beautifully sunny. It was great. So threw the bike in the boot, went for it. After just cycling up the hill, I was feeling, actually not even cycling up the hill, cycling halfway up the hill, I was lightheaded and dizzy and like kind of faint. So I took my time. I thought I was back to, you know, fine. I went down the trail once and I got like 10 steps back up the trail and almost collapsed. Thought, right, okay, this is bad. I'm gonna like take it super slow. And over the course of about 2 hours, we did the trail, or I did the trail 3 times. And by the 3rd time, especially by the time I got back up to the top of the hill, I actually collapsed. Like I couldn't stand. I couldn't even stand just holding the bike upright. I dropped to the ground and sat on the ground for half an hour, waiting for my blood to regenerate enough for me to go home and not die. And unfortunately that seems to have carried on today, because I did like 30 seconds of the lightest strenuous holding stuff, and I've been lightheaded basically ever since. Yeah. Now you may be asking, Andrew, that sounds like you're... Why aren't you at the hospital right now? Good question. The answer is that I would just be sent home anyway, with even less blood in me, because they would take it again. Also, I'd probably wait for quite a while to be able to find out. So, yeah, yeah. I do now have an appointment for my camera test next Saturday, so not this Saturday coming, like the 27th or whatever it is. like next week. So I've got to wait until then to be inspected, and then probably another 6 months before I see the doctor. Oh dear. Aye. Hello Joe, how you doing this week? Not well. As I've just recounted, I got real close to collapsing yesterday, and I'm still kind of feeling it today. In other news, I think I'm buying this house. My landlord called me on Monday and said, I just wanted to float this idea to you. We're rethinking our finances and, you know, want to float the idea. Would you be interested in buying the house? I was like, yeah. I mean, at the right price, obviously. Then he called me again the next day and said, well, we're thinking about what is relatively reasonable or relatively affordable, but certainly high for the condition of the house price, with the kind of state of it, as it were. I'm expecting to have some negotiation room there, I think is the appropriate term. But yeah, we got an agreement in principle today. I can completely afford the even the asking price if I need to. And what you call it? We have an estate agent coming tomorrow to value the place, and a home buyer survey coming on Tuesday to survey the place and let us know if all of the cracks that are everywhere are something to be worried about or not. They're going to be because your stamina's shite, because mine is. No, I go mountain biking quite a lot, and as long as I take my inhaler, because I have asthma too, I can be generally going kind of rounds and rounds on a much longer trail with a much longer hike back up it, and you know, with a couple minutes of rest, we can be going again. Especially with the e-bike, I have never been this faint and like lightheaded and dizzy, and it's I had shed a lot of blood earlier in the day. I've also shed a lot more blood today too. Ah, God. So yeah, that's that. Just grab it if you can. Not really common that someone under 42 can afford a house / apartment. Yeah, I know. That's my plan. So how long does it take to get a loan? Hypothetically, it can be like a couple of days. Realistically, what you call it? Realistically, it's probably in the order of 1 to 2 weeks, especially once you get solicitors involved. Yeah, it's probably in the order of a couple of weeks to a month. Because this is a private sale, you know, we're already moved in, all that sort of stuff. He owns it outright, all that sort of stuff. It's a pretty simple sale. And the fact that we already have an agreement in principle, we have a mortgage advisor who's pretty good actually. Pretty large deposit because we've been saving for years to be able to do this. So yeah, good. Yes, Ish, you're right. What's your blood pressure? That's a good point. I should probably check it. I have a machine at home because when you take ADHD meds, it's basically just legal meth. It's a stimulant, and so they want you to take regular blood pressure readings when you're taking them. Although I haven't taken them for years because I had heart palpitations or atrial fibrillation. It's like purple burglar. You can't say it if you're Scottish. And apparently my Scottish accent's come out because I'm having to help my mother-in-law fight some roofers. And apparently when I need to have confrontation, I turn Scottish. Happy days, then you can do a video of the new lighting rig you're allowed to do. Well, I think the only thing that I would really want to do is just take the legs off and just mount it to the ceiling instead. Not that the legs are really in the way, like I've designed it so that they're not in the way, but yeah. I just bought 375 acres. Oh, wow. Jesus, that's a lot. Whereabouts? Like I have to assume in the States, because there just isn't 375 acres of a single estate in the UK. Maybe a farm, maybe an entire farm, but that's in the millions. Cool, Ohio. That makes some more sense. Yeah, the population density in Britain makes land oh so expensive. Very expensive indeed. I was looking at land the other day, like just as a pure sort of peak of interest, like how much would it be for me to get a decent sized plot of land that you can just, you know, build a house and do stupid stuff, like have lots of fun cars and go-karts and stuff and just hoon about and whatever, like out in the countryside, not farmland or anything, just whatever. The cheapest plot of land I found was 240,000, and I think that was half an acre. But yeah. Bug that would eat your clothes. What about Wales? That's just fields, sheep, and Cardiff over there. There's kind of a couple of mountains in the way of a lot of Wales, though. I'd love to build a container house. That's about all we can afford here, isn't it? And then make it look like a castle. Nice. I'd be able to afford it if you cut 90% off of that. Maybe. Me too, mate. We use it for running jeeps in the mud. Ah, nice. That's cool. That's basically what I was thinking. Like, you know, could I buy a bit of land in the UK to do that sort of, you know, fun stuff with? The answer's no. Because we're quite tightly packed here. Hello, Jim. How you doing, man? How's things? How's your week been? And hello on YouTube-ish. How you doing? Glad to have you. Hello, Harry. Chill vibes. Hello. Doing my first PC build next week. Been watching your videos on liquid cooling. Custom liquid cooling or AIOs? And what sort of spec are you going for? The next closest house is about 2 miles down the road, and they're Amish. Amish. Nice. Well, you know, something stereotype about building barns, right? I have something resembling COVID but testing negative. That's not ideal. Yeah, that's not ideal. I hope you're. I hope you recover soon, and from whatever it may be, and that the symptoms are mild. Oh, by the way, we had parliamentary elections yesterday. My mate talked me into voting 20 minutes before the polls closed. The second time in my life. Did not actually draw a phallic object. This time accomplished feck all as expected. Well, you say that, but if a lot of people have that mentality, right? A lot of people think, oh well, my district, my whatever, is a super safe seat for the party that I like or don't like, and so I won't bother voting. But if everybody actually did vote, there's a very good chance that that's quite a different result, you know? Joe, take care of your health as it gets harder the older you get. Oh, I'm well aware. I am 27 and remarkably disabled. Yeah, I have joint pain. My lower back is, for lack of a better word, disfigured. My intestines are not doing well. I am bleeding out of my intestines. I have asthma. I have something called map dot dystrophy, where the front layer of my cornea detaches from the rest of my eye, and it's incredibly painful. And I'm also on the spectrum both for ADHD and autism. Voting's compulsory in Australia. I've heard, but it's also on like a holiday day or on a weekend or something, so that everybody can actually vote as well, right? Because in the UK, I think it's just like Thursday. Like you can do like a postal ballot, and the polling stations are open reasonably late. I think to like 8 or 9 or something normally. Um, but yeah, it's not. It is definitely not compulsory. AMD 7950X 3D with a 7900 XTX, an ASRock X560E Steel Legend. I'm not sure what cooling I should get. Well, first of all, great specs. Second of all, as much as custom liquid cooling is really cool, both figuratively and literally, it's a massive pain in the ass if you ever want to service anything, especially hardline. But hardline looks the coolest, which is the problem. And also, you technically have to service the like actual coolant itself, because that stuff gets nasty if you use it for long enough. So yeah, I think that the easiest solution is probably still an AIO, but probably more like a 360 mil rad, like a what's Corsair's one called? Because I use it all the time. Fuck, the box is down there. H150i Elite LCD is the one that I have. That's all right. There are quite a few, but yeah, probably. And Joe said it as well. Probably a 360 AO is what you're after, and then just your normal graphics card cooler. Dearie me. I have quite a lot of what you might call gastrointestinal distress today as well. So apologies. Oh. Yeah, it's usually weekend voting. But this time our Mendel president tried to destabilize the Prime Minister's stronghold via diaspora votes, and first time not on the weekend. Interesting. Remind me, what country is that? Because I can't remember. Ah, Croatia, right. Got you. I've sent like 3 different response time tools to Croatia in the last like month. Like I've never sent one there before, and then I've sold 3 there. As you also said, I wish you were right about voting, but this country, man, is something else. Not sure why they let us in the EU. Well, trust me, it turns out it's easier to leave than you think. I'm 54 and have type 2 diabetes. Well, I hope that it's not too difficult for you to keep tabs on. I know that diabetes has a habit of eating appendages, including like feet and legs. So keep an eye on that one. Yeah. In other news, I've lost 10 kilograms in about a month of weight. Now, if I wasn't so badly ill, I would be very pleased with that, because I have been watching what I've been eating and, you know, attempting to exercise a little bit more than I perhaps normally would, although realistically the eating is the problem. But yeah, I am not well, so I'm not very pleased about it. That was careless. Oh, right. My apologies. Didn't mean to connect the two. Uh, yeah, 10 kilos of blood. I mean, I hope not. It does replace itself, but sorry for the question, but will any 2TB SSD work, or does it have to be specific? First of all, that's what we're here for. We're here to answer your tech questions, so you do not have to apologize. Ask as many as you like, and I will do my best to answer them as accurately as I can. With that said, the 2TB SSD, no, any M.2 SSD, or even technically a SATA SSD, but you don't want a SATA SSD, buy an M.2 SSD, will work just fine. There are technically PCIe generations, so Gen 3, Gen 4, and Gen 5. Gen 3 is normally not labeled as Gen 3, it's just M.2, like PCIe SSD, NVMe. Gen 4 is normally labeled, and that's up to about 7 gigabytes per second, normally in reads. And Gen 5 is the newest, and there are a couple of those, and that's up to 14 or 15 gigabytes per second. You really don't need, you certainly don't need Gen 5, and you probably don't need Gen 4 either. So, I mean, it depends on your budget and whatnot, but yeah, you're probably perfectly fine with a kind of any standard up to 3.54 gigabytes per second 2TB drive. The only thing that I would perhaps pay attention to is make sure that you're getting or you're not getting what's called a DRAM-less drive. I don't have any M.2 SSDs to hand. They're over there. But basically there are three main components on an SSD: the controller, DRAM, and the NAND flash, the actual storage. A lot of the very cheap drives, like if it seems a bit too good to be true, that likely is a DRAM-less drive, which means that it's going to be slower, it's going to be not as quick to access stuff, and just generally not as good a drive. So yeah, double check that it has some amount of DRAM cache. That's CACHE cache. Before you buy one. Also, feel free to jump on our Discord. We have a build support channel in there that you can pop by and ask any other questions you have. You know, if you can't, feel free to mention what drive you're thinking of in the comment in the chat here, and I'm sure someone can look it up for me. But yeah. And thank you very much, Ish. There's the link to the Discord. Yeah, I was thinking, what can one lose which weighs 10 kilograms that fast? Not fat. Well, I don't know. Like, I haven't noticed a significant amount of. Well, I can't find that much fat on me. Like, I have the tiniest bit of fat on, you know, on top of my abs. Like, I've got a tiny bit of a belly there. But like, my growth here is all growth. So like, yeah, I don't know. I'll find out when I go to the doctor and be like, so I've lost like 10 kilograms in a month, and like, yeah, can you check? Hello, Essentialist. How you doing, man? How's things? Going back to tech, the issue thing startled me. I've heard Google said they're going to start again to mess with people using AdBlock. That would be interesting. Yeah, yeah. I've been good, just super tired. What about you? I've been trying not to die. Then it's muscle mass and water. Water, I believe, although I have been, as always, chugging away as much as I can. And yeah. If it wouldn't make me have a heart attack, why not? When I had my heart attack, I lost 9 kilograms in 12 to 14 hours. Best weight loss program ever. Was that all water mass? Like, how did, like, just how? You should come over and we'll take you cliff diving. That's a great way to not need a return ticket. And succeeding, mate. Don't forget that. Currently, yes. I'm doing my best. I have my camera test appointment next Saturday. Like, not this one, but the one after. So, you know. Oh no, Alex. Oh no. Oh dear. All right, let's be sensible. What tech have I reviewed this week? I don't know. I reviewed another projector. I reviewed, in fact, you'll see the video tomorrow. Acer's projector, which is cheaper than the BenQ one I reviewed last week. It's actually like worse. No, the thing is that, so they advertise it as the same either 4K 60 or 1080p 240 hertz, but they also advertise variable refresh rate. And as it turns out, if you enable variable refresh rate, then you can only have 144 hertz at 1080p. Bit naff. So yeah, not great. Also, Caputo, who's excited for the 50 series? Excited? I don't know anymore. I was excited when it was like, when there was like big changes and the prices weren't insane, but now it's like, even if there is a decent performance uplift, it costs twice as much to get the new one. So like, why bother? Yeah. It depends if Annie gets a review sample. I won't, especially with that. I saw the budget monitor review. Oh, the Evnia 5500W, the 32-inch. It's not that... especially for being a curved VA panel, I was actually quite impressed with how decent it was. If the price is dump, it'd be nice to get a 5090. Well, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if they didn't hike the price again. But I don't know, their stock price is at an all-time high, and you got to make that shareholder money. Went to an ultra budget store today. Slightly out of date cans of rain for 50 cents each. Nice. Um, entire tray, of course. Fuck. Of course you did. The 4090 is like $1,800. Yeah, like, do you remember when the $1,000 graphics card was insane? Like, how much was this GTX 690? Because that was like literally two 680s on this on a single card in SLI, and that was insane. And I could swear that that was like 1,000, and that was wow, because you're buying two graphics cards in one. But like, I know that the 4090 is considerably faster, and perhaps for, you know, what you call it, nope, mine's gone blank. That happens a lot. That hasn't happened as much recently. I think I was saying that I know that the 4090 is faster, but Jesus. I have no idea. I think it's survive. All I know is I was 93 kilos about 3 weeks before it, and when they weighed me about 12 hours after, I was 84 kilos, so they knew how much knockout drugs to give me. Fair. Yeah. The GTX 690 was 999. Yeah, fair. Yeah, that kind of made sense to me, you know? I struggle to believe that the 5090 will be 70% faster than the 4090. I too would struggle to believe that. First real 4 slots GPU. I wouldn't put it past them, because the 4090 already kind of is a 4 slot card. Like, it's 3 at the back, but the cooler dips past it, so it's just massive. It just, like, it's all the same proportions though, which is the confusing thing, because you look at it, you know, on like on the internet, and it looks like a normal card, and then you hold it, and it's like, wow, this is scaled up. This is a giant graphics card. I remember when, like, the idea of strapping a 120mm fan to a graphics card was ridiculous because the fan was so massive by comparison, and now there's 2 of them on there. Hello yet another user. How do you manifest things? Control delete task manager and animanic exe reboot. Yeah. I have a Logitech G413 keyboard, and I'm noticing sometimes that keys are either not registering or double registering. Any suggestions for starting point of investigation? A lot of the time it's actually the key switches themselves. They've just got a bit of dust in them or whatever, and that inhibits contact and makes it kind of unreliable. So what I tend to do, because I have that happen occasionally with my keyboard, is I'll take the keycaps off and basically blow out, like, hold the key switch down a bit and blow out around it, and that normally helps. Do not bathe it in WD-40 like Chris suggests. Contact cleaner, yeah, yeah, that as well. Does that apply to optical switches as well? Do you know, I don't think it does. I mean, technically, it depends what kind of optical switch, because some of them are sealed, some of them are lasers, some of them are magnets. Magnets. I think I was trying to say magnetic, and then I got halfway through saying the word and decided I was going to say magnets instead. What about alcohol? Isopropyl, yes. Liquor or wine, no. Well, WD-40 do a contact cleaner, so am I wrong? You're the worst kind of wrong. You're right, but you're annoying. Magnets, how do they work? It's something about fields and arcane magic. I actually don't know. Because the thing with magnets is that they do get weaker over time, but it's not proportional. Like, magnets do lose their strength over time as they do work, but they don't. Like it's very slow drop. Also, like you can magnetize stuff. Like you put it on a magnetic machine and or a magnetizer rather, and it magnetizes non-magnetic stuff. Amazing. I mean, proper magnets, proper like neodymium or whatever, is a lot better at retaining its magnetism than like just steel or iron. But yeah, usually M, N, and the bottom row. Mine's like all over the keyboard. Then again, I did build the keyboard, so nah, it's probably my fault. um, that's why a load of screw bits are slightly magnetic. They are indeed, on purpose. Although what's kind of crazy with magnetism is that you can, so let's say that you have a screwdriver that is not magnetic, but for the purposes of installing a screw in like a blind hole that you can't just drop the screw down into, you can stick a magnet to the side of your screwdriver, and that magnetism, flows down to the screw and still holds it if it's a strong enough magnet. Like, isn't that crazy? I didn't realize there's a whole section of people that build their own keyboards, so it costs a lot of money. Yeah, it has gotten kind of better in the cost department because, like 5 to 10 years ago, to have a like custom keyboard was to get someone to CNC mill a like block of aluminium into the keyboard top plate. And then you had to hand solder all of the... Do I have any? I do. Hold on. I have a prop for this. All of the diodes. This is a Xeno diode. Between the keys and build the whole grid array type thing. Like all of that stuff has to be was like hand done. Then you had like the tiniest little microcontroller with some custom firmware that someone wrote, and that was what a custom keyboard was. Nowadays there are a bunch of kits and like otherwise pre-made boards that you can just put your own switches and keycaps on. There's custom stabilizers, all that sort of stuff. Like there's a massive market, but it's also kind of less complicated than it was rather. I have some issues with double registered keys or hosted on wireless NUFI optical red switches. Fair. I wonder if that's, especially if they are optical, I wonder if that is the controller freaking out or not. I don't know. Chris, with if you rub a magnet up the shaft of a screwdriver that isn't magnetic, you can align the electrons in it and make it permanently magnetic. You can also buy a magnetizer and demagnetizer block, and do it that way. Which I have one somewhere. I think it's in my tool bag. Yeah. Da 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 da. Where am I at? I killed one of my Pi 4s. I'm sad, but looking at Pi 5s, I'm like £65 and no audio out. Not as easy a purchase as the 4s were. Is there really no audio out? Where do they expect you to take it from then? The Pi is a weird kind of product now for me, because like the original Pi made a lot of sense because it was basically the bridge between like a like thin client-y type PC and an Arduino. Like it was right in the middle ground between. It's a desktop computer that you can plug a keyboard, mouse, and monitor into, and it has a Linux-based operating system, and it can do all that sort of stuff. But it also has all of the like pinouts and connections and like hardware ecosystem that is very much GPIO, yeah, like the like an Arduino type dev board has. Nowadays, they have improved the Pi so much that there really doesn't, like, I don't really know what it's for anymore, because it's now fast enough that it's basically just a single board computer, right? But it's kind of, it's way too expensive to be an easy purchase for that. There are other competitors in the space that are pretty similar, and like you can run Windows on some of them, like the what was it called? The Blade thing that I reviewed. What was it called? Well, there's the Latte Panda. No, but I reviewed one by Zima board. Thank you. The Z really got me there. It was the Zima board, not the Zima Blade. The Zima Blade, something came out, whatever. Yeah, the Zima board is, especially the base model, is I think basically the same price as a similarly equipped Pi 5, but it's just as fast, if not faster. Sure, it doesn't have the GPIO, but it has full PCIe by 2 or by 4 or whatever. 2 SATA ports, normal display connections, like USB, double Ethernet. Like, there's lots of reasons why, especially compared to a Pi 5, I could understand why you would buy that Zima board, whatever, right? But the Pi 5 is now kind of too expensive for you to just use as a hobbyist, like stick it behind a monitor because you want to use it as a magic mirror. Like, the Pi 3 that I have doing that is all I need for that. And unless they're continuing to make the 3 or the 3B, the one with Wi-Fi, the 4 and the 5, which I don't know if they are. I don't think they are. That's, yeah, I don't know what it's for. Thank you very much for the link, Chris. They are still making 3B and 4B. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. At least they have some options there. Oh yes, the PCIe socket is just a bit too far back to actually fit a card. Yeah. £33.60 for a new 3B Plus from Pi. That's not too bad. Like, that's worth it. I don't know how I feel about the Latte Panda. It's basically just a tiny laptop with a GPIO header, since it can do like up to 60 watts. Well, again, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, it's a bit of a interesting hardware spec. I'm sure that someone will know what to do with it, but I don't have any uses yet. Andy, the new TechteamGB screwdriver sounds awesome. Linus says nothing on you. Yeah, it's just any screwdriver and stick a magnet to the side of it. It's got an i5 1340p faster in theory than a 9900K. What? That's insane. Wow. Joe, do I do sim racing? I do have an steering wheel, and I would love to do more sim racing and better. The problem for me is one, space. Even though I'm now what you call it, buying the house, so that space is just staying as is. But two, I can mount the wheel to the desk here, but the pedals aren't secured anywhere, and I just roll around. I'd like a better pedal set, like pedal and wheel, and all that sort of stuff. But one, I haven't been able to afford it, and two, I really kind of need a rig of sorts to be able to actually like mount it to. So yeah. Rron GT or Tian? Curious. So I've driven both actually. The Tian is a bit of a nicer place to be. Like, it's got the real nice Alcantara. It's got the real nice seats. Whereas the Audi one, while still nice, is kind of, it's just an Audi, you know. With that said, my experience in driving the Audi was that it was more fun to me, but that's probably because Porsche had an instructor sitting next to me dictating to me what I should do the whole time, whereas Audi just gave me the keys and said, go enjoy Millbrook for 20 minutes and come back when you're done. So the Taycan, I was very like, okay, I'm doing what you tell me to do, whereas the e-tron, I was just hooning the shit off. I picked up my friend Phil, who'd come with me to the event. In fact, we've actually got the next SMMT day, the end of next month. So hopefully I'm still alive for that. But yeah, yeah, he had gone off to drive something else, and I had just got in the car, started moving, and then I like stopped, let him in, and then we went round Millbrook, the hill route, and just utterly hooned the shit out of it. Went round three times. Came back with the brakes quite warm. They were like, "You have fun?" I'm like, "Yep," and then we drove home. It was like right at the end of the day as well. It was great. So my impression of the e-tron is I had a lot more fun in it. Being critical, the Taycan is a nicer place to be. I guess it kind of depends on the discount that you get for having it as be the e-tron rather than the Taycan, but yeah. I mean, let's face it, neither of them hold their value. Is that chin bump off a style or a misshave? This is all I can grow. I did shave 2 weeks ago, so this is 2 weeks worth of growth. It's the best that I can manage, I'm afraid. It's alright, only a couple more years. One day he will expand, hopefully. I just sent him on with a white stuck pixel for repair. They replaced the screen with another one with a green stuck pixel. Weeks wasted. I can only apologize for how naff of an experience that is. As an interesting related anecdote, I noticed that 1 pixel on the very corner of my OLED, when it was meant to be displaying white, it was displaying purple, so it was one of the 3 subpixels had conked out. Now, what's amazing about OLEDs is that they do like nightly refreshes, like mini refreshes. And what's amazing is that the next day I turned it on and the issue was gone because it done a refresh and fixed itself. um, so yeah. P8 Panamera. Yeah, but do you really want people looking at you in that? I have a 1969 Dino. Ah, the baby Ferrari. Nice. Actually, I mean, it's kind of a baby Ferrari in 2 ways, actually. But nice. Was that the Boxer 8 or the Flat 6? Well, the Flat 8 or the Inline 6? I don't remember. Driven any Rimats? I would love to, but no. Hey bro, what do you think about the AOC 24G4 without the X? Is that the like 75 hertz one? I don't know. No, it's not. It's 180 hertz. I don't think I've reviewed the non-X version. So grain of salt, but I mean it's IPS. So they claim 1 millisecond, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. But yeah, check out normally actually TechSpot's review, because that's Tim from Harbor Unboxed. But yeah, that would be the video I would recommend. I assume that it is a different one from the X, but it might not be. My video comes up as one of the options for reviews for that monitor, so I don't think it is. I think it's the same monitor. Because if it is, my review of it is A, valid. There you go. And B, it's a great monitor. Really great. Highly recommended. Ooh. No worries. I'd like to tour the UK in my Jeep, but I don't think it's legal there on 44-inch tires and 8-inch lift. Probably not. No. 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 For example, you're not allowed to have exposed tires. So, like, tires that stick out past the wheel arches, especially if it's... There's a kind of... acceptable limit. There's like cheeky. You're risking it, and then there's taking the piss. Anything past taking the piss, and that's like, no, you're getting pulled over, and that's a problem. So yeah, I suspect that big 44-inch tires that I can imagine stick out a fair bit past the vehicle. 8-inch lift, also, yeah, probably not. No. I mean, it probably wouldn't fit on British roads either. They're all quite narrow. My beard didn't grow until I was about 30-ish. And then my neighbors think I'm a junky. Fair play. Essentialist, they have off-roaders and dirt bikes. Like, They chase green laners and farm equipment thieves in the right counties, like Yorkshire and Derbyshire and whatnot. Yeah, they do. My beer grew when I was 12. Oh, no. What's it like to drive on the wrong side of the road? Do you know? It's perfectly normal. I do wish, like, there's absolutely no incentive for it to ever switch over, and obviously being both British and it being my like sort of native setup, I default to feeling like driving on the left is the the sensible solution, but at the same time, I'm a sucker for standardization. I love when stuff is standardized, and the notion that there is only like 5 or 6 countries or whatever that I could import a car from and not have to be on the wrong side of the car, like, that's annoying. Like, I'd love to be able to buy some nice, German automobiles from Germany. And I could, but it would be more difficult. Do you have off-road parks in the UK? I'm sure that there are some, but it's really like the place that people would go if you want to off-road vehicles is what we call green laning, basically like open access country lanes that you can like drive on, like drive your car on or your motorbike or whatever. But we don't have a lot of, well, we don't have a lot of space. And so yeah, that's really the biggest limitation. Would driving on the wrong side mean you use your weak hand on the wheel and dominant hand to change gears instead of a better grip on the wheel just in case? Technically speaking, I'm left-handed, so I already do that. But yeah. Yeah, the average, like, learning stick manual in the UK, in America, at least I'm led to believe, is very much sort of like an enthusiast task. Like, you only do that if you're a car enthusiast and like you go out of your way to do it. Whereas in the UK, having an automatic only license is, at least until recently, until EV started being a thing, you really didn't get many people doing automatic only. And so the default is get a manual license, get the full license, because the automatic only license is a restricted version of the license, and so why bother? Yeah. Lorries also have many gears and clutches and what have you. They do, although I think the majority of lorries, especially in the UK, are autos. Maybe not majority, actually. A lot of lorries are still on the older side. Yeah. You mean a real license, like a real man. Something like that. How would you drive my Jeep? It has 3 gear shifts. Well, I assume one of them is for low range and high range. I have to assume that one of them is for the gearbox, and I guess one of them is for the transfer case. So, like normal. In 4 high for the road and 4 low for the sticky stuff. You can theoretically get an automatic only license. Never seen or heard anyone apart from big mopeds. Ah, fair. I have ASD and ADHD, I did poorly in lessons. Next time I'll stick to automatic. Fair play. I'm while I also have both of those, I very much what you call it? Driving is a I suppose a special interest, as it were. It's something that just clicks for me, and I do quite well, if I do say so myself. One's for the manual trans, one's for high-low for the front, one's high-low for the rear. Ah, okay, fair. It's interesting. Most off-roaders have essentially two. You've got just the gear shift, and the transfer case, high range and low range. So it's kind of interesting that yours has independent transfer cases for the front and back. I have an auto-only license, not through choice, unfortunately. I remember we spoke about this. I'm a lot older than you. The ADHD got worse. Yeah, yeah, fair. I mean, I think for me, just understanding that I have it has helped a lot in being able to kind of try and work with it rather than against it. So, like, having the vocabulary for it is, yeah. It's an Atlas twin stick transfer case. Nice. I can't say that I know exactly what that is, but I can picture it. Although again, it is still kind of weird that you'd have, the option for high gears in the front and low in the back or something. Like, surely that would overspeed. I guess there's probably some clutches in the transfer case that might help with that, but you just blow them out real fast. Look, let's be honest, it's just more fun with the manual. That's for sure. Although I do really like having my S4 and the DSG, which was the only option for the S4 in the UK. I know that in America you can buy the S4 with the 6-speed manual, I think. But yeah, in the UK it was the 7-speed DSG, and for my daily driver that I can also like stamp my foot and I like that. It's a very easy car to drive, and it's an easy car to have fun in. But we may or may not buy an MX-5, so yeah. Everything else we say and could argue about is just so we could justify being more fun. Yeah. It's all about what makes you happy. And if a big old Jeep with a Atlas twin stick transfer case makes you happy, wonderful. If 7-speed DSG and a supercharged V6 makes you happy, wonderful. If a manual motorbike, MTO9 was it, makes you happy, wonderful. I just want to get to work on time, and that's why you need a helicopter. Hello, Atted. How you doing? Also, goodbye. I'm hearing there's problems with 13th and 14th gen. What problems do you hear of, Richard? A Jeep has an inline 4-liter 6 with a turbo. Nice. Diesel or gas? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Because generally off-roaders in the UK are all diesel. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not. Gas. Interesting. That was interesting, because generally, diesel provides more torque and it's a bit more sort of stable, so you can lump it around. Oh, quality issues. Interesting. Thanks, John. Sometimes to do with numerical compute. Interesting. I'll have to keep an eye. Oh, I wonder if that's production issues. Is Intel's, I think one of Intel's biggest chip fabs is in a place that's currently at war. Like active war. Like it was already kind of at war, but it's like active war. Anyway, I'm gonna try and not die before next week. So I will hopefully see you guys next week. Yeah. I hope you all have a good week. I hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. And yeah, I'm gonna keep trying. Yeah. I'll catch you all next week. Same time, Thursday, 8 PM UK time. Yeah.